Hello, world, and welcome to the United Hour. I am President Chad, and inside the house with me, we have got the man Devin down there, up there in Miami, and the man even higher up there in Canada, Big Phil. And right here in Trinidad and Tobago with me, you got the man Robert. How you gentlemen doing today?
Not bad. Hoping for a better result this weekend. Good evening to everybody.
Not gonna lie, these all black minor the kits look sick though. These jackets.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
we move.
For sure. So, what are we going to be talking about today? Well, I mean, verbal agreement for Ten Hag. So pretty much that's in the bag. So we're going to be talking a lot about Ten Hag today. We're going to be talking about possible ins and outs. We're going to be talking about a very interesting article written by The Athletic and also by the Daily Mail. We are going to be talking about Paul Pogba. We are going to be talking about protest plans this weekend for the Norwich game. As all on the itinerary. And of course, today is Thursday. So, we're going to have the Boo Boo and Top Shutter segment at the end of the show. So, guys, let's jump into it. I want to talk about this. I want to start off talking about this article from The Athletic. I'll break it up in a couple sections because there's a lot. So, I want us to digest it properly. The Athletic is saying that there are certain players that are definitely going to be leaving at the end of the season. Those players are Paul Pogba, or out of contract, Jesse Lingard, Edison Cavani, and Mata. 4 players alone are going to save Manchester United £750,000 a week. I want you all to hear that figure again. £750,000 a week for an inconsistent Paul Pogba, for Jesse Lingard and Mata, who we very rarely ever see in the 11, and for Cavani, who has been more out of the team than in the team. Right? Now, there also says that there are a couple other players that want to leave. Martial, Dean Henderson, Phil Jones is hoping to get football somewhere because he's not going to get football if he stays here. Matic, all want to leave. You are looking at 4 and 4. That is 8 players. So the first question I want to throw to the panel is, will Manchester United be able to buy or to be able to promote in one transfer window 8 players? We have a new manager coming in, and you're looking at 8 exits at least. What is Ten Hag supposed to do with that?
So I think 4 players brought in. That would be the absolute limit of what they could bring in now. The next question you start thinking about is, all right, promote some youth. Which youth do you think are ready right now? You could make a big Garnacho, potentially Charlie McNeil.
Google, I think, should get a little run out in the preseason at least.
So you got there's a few. Hannibal's another one that's showing potential. So
I think we really need to decide what we're gonna do with oh gosh, what's this guy with big hair?
Chong.
We had to make a decision what we're gonna do with Chong. We can't be sending Chong out on loan again. I think it's either we sell him this off season or we give him a run in the team. In my opinion, I mean Chong. How long we flirting with Chong, giving some games and then send him out on loan. I mean, we need to make a decision on Chong.
I think it'll be a season where you'll start seeing a lot of youth get their chances. It's what they do with those chances is up to them. Whether or not they're ready, here's your opportunity. You got to take it and go with that. In terms of signings now, I think
now we're going to talk a little bit about signings later.
Okay.
The big question is, do you think Manchester United could promote and bring in 8 players?
Yes. I think 8 players between signings and youth coming up. Yes, I think it's possible.
All right, Big Phil.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why that would be one of the first things that the new manager wouldn't want to do, right? Because when he comes in, he knows he is already going to be given, or he has an idea of who is going to be shown the exit, or who has already mentally checked out of playing football for us again, right? So he has to move past that, right? He has to be more um, a bit of proactivity and a bit of reactivity, right? And by proactive, I mean you already know who's going out. Well, you already know who you want at Manchester United, but you're still being a bit reactive because you know that at least 5 to 8 players will be shown the door this summer, right? So with regards to some signings with a mixture of youth, that can possibly be seen happening come this summer window with the new manager coming in.
Robbie,
Is he muted?
Robbie, we're not hearing you. I think you're muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I think for us to get eight players between signings and youths, I mean, it shouldn't be an issue because even if you say you buy 3 players, you should be able to bring up, 5, and then so I don't see it as an issue. I think the only issue will come is if the board decides to get involved and want to control, how things go. But as long as Ten Hag is given the all clear between him and Fletcher and so on, like I think they should be able to figure it out.
I mean, one of the things, my concern is, and I think a lot of our concern is whether they are going to give Ten Hag the time. Jurgen Klopp came in and had 5 seasons before Liverpool had success. I don't think he finished in the top four in his first 2 seasons, right? But Jurgen Klopp was building, and every window he was slowly bringing players in to play his system and his style of ball. And I'm hoping that Ten Hag gets that kind of time, especially if some of the rumors we're hearing as far as how much money Manchester United has to spend are true. But we're going to get to that shortly. So also in the article, they were speaking about, they talked about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in, he immediately wanted to get rid of certain players. He got rid of the likes of Lukaku, he got rid of Sanchez, he got rid of Mario Fellaini, and the club took a while to replace these players. And I never heard that until I looked at the Athletic article. I never thought about it that way. That Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted to move very quickly. He knew the players that were Manchester United players, and he knew the players that wasn't Manchester United players. And he started clearing out deadwood. But when the club was slow to replace deadwood, because you get rid of Sanchez and Lukaku, who did the club bring in? We brought in our old Cavani and we promoted Greenwood. Right? During the entire time Ole was here, he got rid of Fellaini, but we never brought in a proper CDM. And you found that is why the article also alludes to the fact that is why subsequent to those players, you found that Ole was slow to get rid of the people like Anthony Martial and other players, because in the back of his mind, there was always a concern, okay, I could give the okay for them to sell these guys, but will I get replacements? You know what I mean? Will I get replacements? And if you're not going to get replacements as a manager, you're kind of tentative to let players go. So, from that perspective, you kind of ask yourself, what is Ten Hag? How is he looking at the future? Because we get the impression from everything that we're reading that Ten Hag asked for certain commitments and stuff from the club because he's very aware of our recent history in dealing with managers. So you have to ask yourself the question, will he get that kind of support? So do you all think this would worry Ten Hag? Do you think he's going to come in and be as aggressive in letting players go as we all think he should, and he may want to Or is he going to be like, let me wait and see who comes in first before I go crazy and
No,
telling the idea that the bus team?
so Big Phil and I can tell are already going to disagree on this one. I think that's exactly what he needs to do, because the first thing he needs to do as a manager is to come in and explain the players, you don't run this. I am the manager. I have the final say. All the one are not bigger than me. If you have a problem with that, go along. And that's the way it needs to be. There needs to be players needs to be cleared out. You need to start bringing in players as well as the youth to come in and tell these people who are on big wages who might stick around, there's no room for complacency. This guy's coming for your spot. Prove to me why you should keep it. So you need to come. You need to establish authority immediately, because for too long it seemed that the players have had the power over this. The players are choosing to play when they want to play, and how many managers now have they thrown under the bus?
So, as far as you're concerned, even if the club is dragging its feet and buying players, just fill them up with youth players. But the players you want to get rid of, walk in the door and just start saying, yeah, you could go, you could go, you could go. Just
If they feel that they're bigger than the club and the manager, yes.
all right. Phil?
So your question was relating to the shipping out and also the incoming and possible incoming transfers as well. So that's what your question was about, right?
Yeah.
Right. So Ten Hag
Is,
over
is,
the
is Ten
last
Hag going to look at what happened under Ole? And if we remember, under Jose Mourinho as well, who also wanted players and wasn't getting them and therefore kind of held his hand. He always used to say when they were asking him about transfers, I don't know if you'll remember, Jose always used to say, well, I could sell players when I get players. Right? Jose always used to say that in his last season. He used to say in the last window, I remember very well, is like, I would sell players when I get players. Until I get players, I ain't selling nobody because I'll be short.
well, if we all have been following the tweets and the news over the last probably 3 to 4 weeks, right? I think it's like unofficial, but Ten Hag literally signed on the dotted line last week, right? But the reason why it was taking so long was Ten Hag wanted to make sure that he had reassurances, right? It doesn't make sense putting yourself into a situation where you don't know where you're going into, right? He does have an idea of what's going on at Manchester United, but he wants to cover his ass and make sure you know what, look, I'm going to be the manager for the next 3 to 4 years, right? If I do sign on this dotted line, I want to make sure the following criteria is met, right? I want to be part of the transfer process, ins and outs, right? Because at the end of the day, these are the players I got to work with, not you guys in the boardroom. You guys are going to buy, you guys are going to sell, you guys are going to make money off of revenue, and that is about it. I got to deal with these guys for 38 games in the EPL, X amount of games in the FA Cup, depending on how far we get, X amount of games in the Champions League. I got to deal with these guys, for the next 3 or 4 years. You guys just making revenue off of shirt sales, off of tours to Thailand and tours to Australia. That's what you guys are making money off of, right? But I got to deal with these guys on and off the pitch, right? So you got to make sure that certain reassurances are met, certain criteria is jotted down in that contract before he gets that pen and sign it. I think you're muted.
Chat, you got to unmute.
Oh, wow, sorry. Had they running along. I said, let's get to some comments. Good afternoon to Martin Philip. Good afternoon, Best. Good afternoon to Lewis. And so Martin is saying, good afternoon. Best is saying, bring in 5 players and promote 3 youths. Best, I think we're going to end up doing the reverse. We might buy 3 players and promote 5. I'm not sure Manchester United gonna buy 5 players in this off window, especially with the kind of rumors that they're putting out on Sky Sports, which we're gonna get to in a little bit. Mark Lewis is saying, I think we could bring in players and promote some of the youth. Indeed, build for the future. And I think that's what we have to give Ten Hag the room to do. The board needs to handle the business part and let Ten Hag handle the football part. Totally agree. Robert, I have a question for you, a little different to the questions that I pose to the other guys, and is this: should Manchester United focus on trying to get into some kind of European football? Now, the obvious answer for most people would be, of course, with Manchester United. We're supposed to be in Europe. But understanding that we're going into a proper rebuild, understanding that the manager is going to need time to work on his system. And when you're playing 3 games a week, it is very difficult to do the kind of building and theoretical work required for the players to play up to that standard. Do you think it'll be better for Manchester United to miss all European, Europa, Conference League, Champions League, just miss all of Europe and focus on the league? That'll be better for the new coach and the team? Or do you think we should try to qualify for Europe regardless?
I think people need to be I think we as fans need to hold on to our like we need to be very reasonable, and our fan base is very far from reasonable. I think this next year, to me, is a free hit. Wherever we land, we land. But the point of this year should not be about Europe. It should not be about winning anything. The point of this year is about getting a style of football.
I wanna get back to the question that I initially asked, because you start talking about last season, but you brought up a very important point that I can't let pass by. You are saying that Ten Hag, once he not in the relegation zone, should be allowed next season to implement his style of play. Whether we win in games, whether we lose in games, it is about building a philosophy and a style of play, and he must be allowed time to do that. That is what you say. That we shouldn't be reactionary, that if we lose a couple of games as United supporters, we shouldn't be pulling out our hair and behaving like the world coming to an end. That's what you say.
I know that in this day and age, unfortunately, is almost impossible. Because let's just say in his first 10 games, you're seeing the signs of what he wants to do. But we lose 5, we draw 3, we win 2. Our fans are not going to be like, hey, give me time. No. You're going to have men saying online, Ten Hag out. Facts.
I mean, we all remember how Arteta and Arsenal started the season, right? Mm-hmm. But look where they are now.
Right. And it's like
3 or 4 losses in a row.
Right.
And this season.
But what people don't understand is, if you go back and you look at Klopp in his first season, they weren't saying much, They weren't saying much. But real Liverpool fans, real football Liverpool fans, were seeing the beginnings of something. Man City in Pep's first year came fourth, and they weren't saying nothing either. People said, "Oh, Pep is a flop." Even I said it. I won't lie. I did say, "Look, you see, Pep, he's a fraud. Look at him, he's a fraud. He come fourth." Now I'm a fool, because Pep has won how many leagues, how many cups, Like, we have to, unfortunately, I know it's a very long time that we have all been here, and we have been through 4 rebuilds already. It was the rebuild under Moyes, Jose, Van Gaal, Oli. Now it's Ten Hag. But I think this is the one where we need to really and truly give them real time. This year has to be a free hit. Doesn't matter where we end up. This year has to be a free hit. But by the end of the year, you would see, because it's all about now. Right now is a garden. We are now planting the seeds. We have to turn the soil. We have to put on fertilizer. We gotta put the seeds down. You have to water the plants, and you have to, put in the foundation.
With that in mind, should we try to qualify for Europe, or should we just do better with that?
No. Forget qualifying. Forget all that. If you get through, praise be. But the point should be to get our football right, get our players right, get the system right.
Anybody has a counter view to what Robert is saying?
I think
Or
we
you all
should
agree?
aim. I think we should aim for Europa League. That's my take, right? At the end of the day, we're not Champions League level because we're not even champions in our own country, right? I think this squad is at Europa League level, but I think Conference League will be definitely an insult. So I I think it's a case of when Liverpool hired Klopp, right? Liverpool and Liverpool fans saw that there was something simmering. There was something happening in the background. Don't mind the results because at the end of the day, we live in a football society where everybody is about they're more process focused than outcome focused, right? They're looking at game after game after game. And they have something to say after every single game, whether it be Klopp out or Klopp is the best manager, whatever, right? When Klopp was hired, Klopp was one of the most in demand managers at the time, right? Klopp was wanted by Arsenal. Klopp was wanted by us, right? When Pep Guardiola was hired, Pep Guardiola was considered one of the best coaches in the world, right? I'm excited about Ten Hag because Ten Hag himself is one of the most. I don't want to say he's one of the most in demand coaches, right? But he's one of the most up and coming coaches right now, right? A lot of pundits, a lot of former players and legends have been praising his name. Uh, I actually talked to a few Ajax fans here in Toronto, and they said, "Treat him well, treat him well." And I said, why treat him well?" They said he's probably one of the best managers right now in world football. One, and two, the talk of what I've been hearing from some of the fans in Toronto and some of their family members back in Holland, right, who support Ajax, is that a lot of people are not wanting to go to Ajax on the last day, but they still want to go to Ajax on the last day. They stay to wave goodbye, right? Because it's going to be an emotional event. It's going to be an emotional send off for Ten Hag. So definitely looking forward to Ten Hag. I do agree with Robert with regards to philosophy. With regard to Europe, I'd accept Europa League. I think that's our team's mentality right now. If it doesn't happen, okay, cool. That just means we're playing one match a week until knockouts of like FA Cup and Carling Cup or whatever, right? But as it stands, Europe Champions League is out of our hands. So if we don't make it, oh well.
As we talk in Europa League, let's run through some scores because there was Europa League and Conference League today. So let's run through the scores that matter to us. Barcelona
Gone.
lost
Bye.
to
Hey,
Eintracht
we
Frankfurt.
shouldn't laugh. You know why we shouldn't laugh at any of these guys? You know why?
Why?
Where are we? We have been home
It don't
since
matter.
last year. We have
That
no
is
right to
okay.
talk. No.
That is okay. We
It's
can
like
laugh.
men talk about Chelsea. Oh, no. We can't talk about nobody.
West Ham
Not one soul.
beat Lyon 4-1 in aggregate. They won today. Declan Rice with a goal for West Ham. They won against Lyon 3-0. Rangers beat SC Braga 3-1, and they also went through an aggregate. Then we have in the Conference League, Leicester beat PSV Eindhoven 2-1 today, and went through 2-1 an aggregate. And who else do we have of interest? Jose Mourinho's Roma beat
Some
Body
unknown
Flint.
team. But I've been telling Italian fans before you knew about Federico Chiesa, there was a guy by the name of Nicola Zaniolo. Other than injuries that have taken him out of playing football, he is one of the most up and coming Italian talents from the age of like 17. Right? So Zaniolo, well done today.
Atletico Madrid and Manchester City 0-0. That was a very exciting game, despite the fact that it was 0-0. City went through an aggregate 1-0 scoreline. Liverpool Benfica 3-all, And what is of significance to us is that Darwin Nunez, somebody that we have been linked to that we're going to talk about in a little bit, he scored again for Benfica. He's been having a very good season. And on Tuesday, we had Real Madrid, Chelsea coming away 3-2 winners, but losing on aggregate. So Chelsea is out of the Champions League. And Villarreal beat Bayern Munich on aggregate 2-1. They drew 1-1 yesterday. And I want to ask this question before we get back into the Ten Hag conversation. When you see those kind of score lines, especially the Villarreal game, does that make you feel any better about losing the Europa League to Unai Emery? You know, you tell yourself, well, this guy obviously knows how to win cup games.
It does not at all. We had our opportunity last season to do something with it, and we did not take our chance. Well done to them now to advance and to knock off Bayern Munich.
So it doesn't speak to the quality of manager that Emery is.
No,
that
was
not your original question.
He's a waste of time.
May I make a call?
Yeah.
I'm speaking to Michael Carrick, and Michael Carrick is saying beating Villarreal isn't for everybody.
So no, it does not make a difference. We had our opportunity to do so, and well, we lost out because we lost out on the 11th penalty kick. So whatever, it does not make you feel any different because at the end of the day, you still came home without a trophy.
Okay,
we're still fair enough. 5 years now without a trophy. Well done to them. It shows what happens when you prepare. It also shows what happens when you underestimate a side like what Bayern Munich did. And it also shows like that.
You think Bayern Munich underestimated the side for 2 legs? I could understand the first leg.
Yes.
You underestimate the side. But when you get licks in the first leg and they come in the second leg, you think they underestimated them again on Tuesday?
Yes. Yeah. I think Nagelsmann got his tactics wrong. So but anyway, that alludes to what my Google man is gonna be. But it just like that Tuesday was one of the best days of Champions League I've ever seen. I will say that right now. As a neutral fan watching my team didn't have anything to do with that, I could not look away from either match. So I have to say that was an incredible day. But no, congratulations to Villarreal. They did what they had to do. And I know here now is going for Villarreal in the next leg of the Champions League.
But you know, the weird thing is, right? Villarreal beat Bayern Munich, right? And you know, still no one cares. No one cares.
all that
I
will say
people care about Real and Chelsea.
I hope that cares about them. Run circles around Alexander Arnold, and that's it. And go from there.
All right.
Once the two English teams do their job and beat those Spanish teams,
I will make. I'll say right now, Liverpool City final.
Yeah.
Well, that's very obvious.
Real game beat. I'm sorry.
I don't understand. So a man just take down Bayern Munich, and only not giving that man a chance to beat none of the other big teams. Only than write you off already.
It's the easy prediction right now. Obviously the all English final. I can tell you right now, I mentioned Danjuma on purpose because I think that matchup between him and Alexander Arnold is going to decide that leg.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Liverpool have one of the most informed goalkeepers in the world, and Sadio Mane and Mo Salah speak for themselves, right? So can't really
let's also not forget what's his name is actually playing very good. Paul Torres right now is playing very good this season too. Another person that we should have looked after harder last season. But so it definitely will be interesting to see. But I still think it all comes down to that Danjuma Alexander Arnold thing. I feel Danjuma is gonna do the same thing he did to Dalot to Alexander Arnold.
We are playing down Real Madrid at the end of the day.
I'll tell you why. Because Chelsea had chances to beat Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Bad. And because they have the man with the boots, right? And the German who can't score. That is why they have no striker.
Exactly.
have no striker.
The chance,
It's
those chances that fall to Sadio Mane and
Yeah, yeah.
Diego Jota, those are being buried.
yeah. I put it this way. It took one of the best passes I've ever seen to knock off Chelsea. So
Yes.
that Modric pass was incredible. And
Yeah.
the man is how old? 36, 37, I think something like that, and playing the full match, and I think it went to extra time as well. Like all of that, yeah, that it speaks volumes about him, and he
But
deserves a lot more credit. I think to be put up in discussion of
But
greatness.
to be a sour person, it just shows you how far we are from competing at
yeah,
that level. Just want to say
You
that.
know, Phil. I was trying not to say that. I was
But I was going to
listening.
say it though. I
Yeah.
was trying not to
Hey,
say it.
let
But
me
what
say
did we learn about what Devin said about Modric? Drink wine and don't drink beer. It will add years to your life. Right? If you didn't know, that's what Devin was trying to tell you all in smart there.
Pirlo is a perfect example of that too.
Drink wine, and I always tell people there's a reason why English players don't last because of the way they eat versus Italian players and German players. Now, German players drink beer, but Germans eat a lot of meat. Germans eat meat sometimes 3 times a day. They have meat for breakfast, they have meat lunchtime, sometimes they have meat for dinner. And the way you eat will affect. That is why Cristiano Ronaldo is older than Rooney, and Rooney looks like his father. You
Yep.
understand? Because of
Just,
the
just
way
take a look at
English
the likes
people
of
eat.
take a look at the likes of Van der Vaart and Samir Nasri. Oh my gosh, boy. They have let the kitchen take over their life, boy. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Good evening to Nicholas. Says a first time watching. So that's good. Building the United our family. Um Garrett is saying I want to see Liverpool and
Yeah,
City
man.
haul their ass out of the Champions.
We all every single person here wants that, but we also are.
No.
I don't know about all by back in Villarreal hard. I am
Villarreal
back
and
in
Real Madrid
Villarreal
will be
hard.
the most boring final ever.
Yeah, so
It
boring.
will be. It'll be.
I
Let me
don't
tell you
care.
something. The
Let me
real
tell
I
you
don't
something.
want
final,
Real
the
Madrid to
real
to
final
lift any more
is
cups.
Liverpool versus Real Madrid. That is the final. That final could be
And
fire.
I can take that as well.
Benzema
Liverpool versus
versus
Real
Salah.
Madrid. I can take that. I can take that.
That would be.
But I would rather that the Champions League come home to England than
Nope.
to go
Not-
in La
not me.
Liga
No,
and
no, no,
everybody messaging me about La Liga this and EPL that. I can't take that anymore.
I don't mind
No,
it going to Spain if
I
it's
don't
not
really
Real
care for
Madrid.
that. I don't really listen to that argument as much because at the end of the day, that's simply just their opinion, and every single person is entitled to their opinion. So, but it's up to you if you choose to listen to that opinion or
No,
not.
because okay, like you take City and Chelsea last. I mean,
Thank
last
you,
final.
Gareth. Thank you, Gareth.
Well, like Devin said, it's up to me if I listen to opinion. So if I choose to listen to Gareth's
Right.
opinion or not, it's totally up to me. So
Aye.
Yeah, so guys, bringing it back to Manchester United on Sky Sports last night. They were having a discussion, and one of the Sky Sports reporters said that he got wind that Manchester United only has 20 million pounds to spend in the transfer window if they don't qualify for Europe. Now, I remember this is not my words. This is what the source from Sky Sports said last night, right? That Manchester United has 20 million pounds to spend if we don't qualify for Champions League. In this day and age, in this market, I don't know that Manchester United could buy a professional water boy for $20 million. So let's assume that is just, I don't know, misinformation. And let's talk a little bit of some of the players that we've been linked to. The article from The Athletic also said that Manchester United is going to be focusing on the attack, and that not just Manchester United, but that Ten Hag is going to be focusing on the attack and he's going to be focusing on midfield. So for all of those people who are hoping to see Harry Maguire out, you notice I didn't call him when we were talking about the players that are scheduled to leave. His name wasn't mentioned because we're not looking to buy any defenders. We're talking about men like Darwin Nunez in the attack. For midfield, they're looking at two central midfielders and a right winger or a right midfielder. So for the right midfielder, you have Anthony being linked to come into Manchester United. And for the central midfielder CDM position, you have Rice, Phillips, Neves, as some of the names being bandied about that Ten Hag would be interested in bringing to Old Trafford. We also know that we've been hearing about this guy from Spurs. What's his name again?
Bergvine, or
Harry Kane.
oh no,
Leave
oh, sorry, I saw something out today come up about him. So
Steven
Bergwijn. The only thing I know about Bergwijn, for those people who are aware of it from the Caribbean, we just make tea with that. It's good for your eyes. Right? That is the only thing. I think Bergwijn good for. So let's assume that Manchester United has a little more than $20 million to spend. And you heard the names that I brought up. Who realistically, out of those names, Harry Kane, Darwin Nunez, Anthony, Rice, Phillips, Neves, who realistically, if we're looking to bring in an attacker, a right midfielder, and a central midfielder, who realistically can we bring to Manchester United?
Well, all the names you said are going to cost over 20 mil. Last season we could have had Neves for something somewhat near that, but they chose to do other plans. They're going to need to sell players right now. So
sell players? Who do we have of value to sell?
Well,
Matic? 10 million if we're lucky.
Either De Gea or Dean Henderson.
Fair enough. Go ahead.
So I think Darwin Nunez. I saw a lot from him yesterday. To me, I saw that as his English audition, and I think he passed it with flying colors. It showed he could play in English, showed he could cope with the likes of Liverpool. And the man's work ethic was incredible. And that's something that was a nice breath of fresh air to see that from a striker who's hungry like that, aka what Cavani was last season. So I would be making a big move for him. I would also like to see Calvin Phillips in. I still have to watch a little bit more about Anthony. I'm not 100% sold yet, but I am liking the things I'm seeing from him though. But I do think that Nunez and Phillips are must. And I think that Rice is going to cost way too much. So I think you can get those two players for less than what Rice would cost just by himself right now.
For sure.
Bring in the two ends, Nunez and Neves, and I'm good. I don't care about anybody else. Anthony is Brazilian. We don't do well with Brazilians. Love the guy. Love to watch him freestyle. Love to watch him freestyle a lot. By the end of the day, our track record of Brazilians is not that great. So I'd rather go for Neves.
Well, you don't think Fred is finally changing that this season?
Move on, please.
So you would not go for Calvin Phillips?
I'd rather Neves from Wolves.
I mean, my biggest critique with Calvin Phillips is like his stupid fashion style. I'm pretty sure we all saw that photograph of him with those whatever you call it on his feet, because I can't even call those sneakers, trainers, whatever. But besides that, I think he could be a quality player for United.
Calvin Phillips hasn't really lit the EPL up this season per se. More the central the defensive mids that have been on everybody's mouth this season were Basuma, Neves, and Declan Rice. So I'd rather go for Neves. Is he going to cost a pound and a crown? He will, right? But he'll be definitely worth it for the next probably 7 to 8 years.
So another big thing I'm thinking about as well is with the English proven. So that also helps with the homegrown rule. And you have somebody who I think could play at that level as well too. So, and I think he still could be. He's definitely going to be cheaper than Rice. And with what Wolves are saying now that Neves is going to cost, where they're saying that they want 100 mil for him, but I think they'll probably get around 60 for him, if that.
I think the court said that. I don't think Wolves said that. Braga said that he's worth 100 mil. I don't think the club has valued him at that as yet. But when Manchester United come knocking.
Somebody needed to check that man pulse when he said that. He couldn't be serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Phillips will be a good solution for that. and it also helps with the English quota in the squad as well too.
So Nicholas is saying Neves would be cheaper because he wouldn't have the English tax compared to Phillips. Well, we know how that goes. However, Leeds and Manchester United have had, despite our rivalry, Leeds and Manchester United actually do good transfer business over the decades. And we recently sold them a player for 25 million. I mean, I'm not sure that Phillips would be as expensive as if he was coming from, say, a West Ham or some other English club, because Leeds and United seem to do good business. So let's see how that goes. We're going to talk one more thing about Ten Hag, and then we're going to move on. And we're going to talk about Ten Hag's possible assistant. What we're hearing is that Ten Hag wants to bring his assistant that is with him at Ajax across. The name of that person is Mitchell van der Gaag. So we're going to have a Van der Beek and a Van der Gaag on Manchester United.
And
Does anybody have a problem, with him bringing his assistant from Ajax across?
All we need is a Van der Sar back and we set.
I hear that, brother. I hear that.
Completely set.
Well, good. So everybody is cool with that. So let's talk a little bit about protests. There's a protest planned for the Norwich game. Now, let me outline what the structure of the protest is going to be, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit. The idea is for fans to gather outside the stadium before the game and to stay outside the stadium for 17 minutes, 1 minute for every year that the Glazers have been in charge of Manchester United. So the fans are supposed to stay outside for 17 minutes and start entering the stadium at minute 17 to, it's an anti-Glazer protest. So it's like, we're not saying don't come to the game, or we're not going to go in the stadium, but we're going to show, the Glazers that we're not happy with certain things by staying outside for 17 minutes and walking inside on the 17th minute, right? So that's the concept of the protest. The first question I just want to throw out there, anybody could answer, because there's a couple questions out of this, so we wouldn't necessarily go all around. Whoever wants to answer could answer. The first question: does anybody think that this protest is going to come off? Do you think this is going to work? Do you think fans are going to stand up outside and wait to 17 minutes, or are large enough? Because if there's only 5,000 fans outside, that is not enough. Manchester United at capacity right now is how much? 70?
Just under 75.
Right? 75,000. So if 5,000 people stand up outside, if 10,000 people stand up outside, the cameras inside the stadium, the place is going to look packed. You need about probably 20 to 30,000 people outside to at least start to make the stadium look a little empty. Does anybody think that is going to work? That is going to have the visual effect that the protest planners intend for it to have?
No, not for this one. It's the first one. So this first one, you're going to get a couple of the hardcores. I think you'll be lucky to get 5,000 for the first one. I think that Old Trafford is still a tourist destination, and you have a lot of people that travel. Because I can tell you that nearly all of Old Trafford, what is Pat, is not living in Manchester. So you have a lot of people that commuted from London. Some people came from all over the world to go there, and they spent a lot of money to get there as well. And so they're going to want to get
not to stand up outside for 17 minutes.
They're going to want to get all their money's worth. However, if results keep going the way that I think they're going to go, and then these people keep on getting more and more, what's the word I'm looking for? More and more exposure. People are starting to see it's actually doing something. People inherently are followers. So at first they're not really going to take part, but when they start seeing it actually growing and growing, I think by the Chelsea match we'll know if it actually worked or not. Because by the time Chelsea match comes around, we will see if they're actually getting the numbers if the protests continue or they come into the 17-minute mark.
What's the goal of these people who are looking to protest?
They want the Glazers out. They want the Glazers to sell the club. That's the whole goal of it.
So they think that protesting right before the Norwich game, with about 6 games to go, at the business end of the season, when you had an entire 30 plus games to do that, they think that protesting now will be the final nail in the coffin for the Glazers to go. That's their goal,
And
right?
actually, Phil, that's the problem I have, right? This protest came the first day that they started making the wrongs on Twitter and on social media was the day when news broke that I think it's RB Leipzig was interested and trying to take Ten Hag away from Manchester United.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
too many times these things to me seem reactionary. It doesn't seem like it was a long-term plan. It seems like what? We might miss out on Ten Hag. These people just dragging their feet. Let's protest and show them, And it's like, what's going on with that? If you're doing something, do it and do it consistently. Even if it's only 5 people start, the next week it might have 15. The next week it might have 10,000. The next week it might have 20,000. But you have to, it cannot be a flash in the pan, right? So we get some bad news, so let's protest. And there's no consistency. And even still, with that being the case, convincing somebody to sell a profitable enterprise without government pressure, like in the case of Chelsea, I mean, how is that going to work?
If you want to hit the Glazers where it hurts, don't stand
No.
outside for 17 minutes. Stand outside for 90 minutes.
No, not
Don't buy tickets.
time out. No, not even that. Because you know what? You already still purchased the tickets by that point, so the money's still going into their pockets. If you really want to hit them where it hurts, don't buy the merchandise. Don't buy the match tickets.
Yeah, I was just getting to that, right? By the end of the day, I don't think everybody in Old Trafford is a season ticket holder, right? So
True.
what I would say is that, like President Chad said, it's just a flash in the pan, right? It'll probably make headlines for the newspaper the next day, but then what next, right? Be consistent, right? Do it from match day 1 to match day 38. Doesn't matter if we beat Leeds 4-2 or Newcastle 4-1,
So-
or we lose to Liverpool. Do it all the time. Just be consistent.
So this will be a rhetorical question right now, I guess I could say. Do you all think the protests still happen if they back Ten Hag this summer?
The protests.
Yes.
Meaning, would it be consistent if the club backs the new manager, or will the fans just forget about the protest and go to the stadium?
But the club is
Yes.
the club
You know
the club will back Ten Hag, right? So I'm not sure why the protest.
So no, I mean like if he gets all the signings that he
the
wants,
fans.
and then like he lets go, he lets the players go that he thinks
'Cause-
will not be a part of our aging and
'cause-
whatnot too. And then like it all of a sudden there's a new excitement around because Ten Hag got what he
Remember,
wanted time to implement. Do you think the protest will still happen?
Yeah.
Do you think the fans will still protest
'Cause-
after that point? And that like
No. But
that's what I'm curious about. And then we should know for sure. I think by Chelsea match we'll know whether this is actually legitimate or not, or whether
Were there any protests under Sir Alex Ferguson?
There was
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, there
One.
was actually.
Yes.
Right after the Glazers
Yeah.
did their takeover, and that's why you have FC United of Manchester now because of that.
Yes, there
So
was one.
Glazers took over in 2005, if memory serves me
Yes.
correct, right?
Yes.
So between 2005 to 2013, when Sir Alex Ferguson left, were there any protests inside there?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
there was one.
that's
One
that,
big
that's
one.
that's why I'm saying that's why there's the FC United of Manchester Football Club now because of that.
Yeah, there was one. Robert, what it is you were saying?
no, I was saying that these I don't think it will matter because last season, right? People were trying to organize a protest, and then they went and bought Ronaldo, and Ronaldo sold out the whole website. We all went
Crash.
crazy. We were all like,
Yeah.
"Sue," right? And then we are back here again.
I'm
Glazers
guilty.
will
I'm
go
guilty.
and
started
buy
off
Harry
this season- I started off this
Yeah,
season
they would.
committing not to buy a Manchester United shirt for the 2021-2022 season. I committed it. I said I wasn't going to do it. but I have a Ronaldo shirt. I can't lie. I broke
And
my
I
own
and I
word.
said and I said I wasn't going over, and look what happened. So,
Right. You know why?
Ronaldo.
You
but
know
you know
why?
what?
Look at that
I
suit.
don't regret it. I don't regret it though at all. So because
You know,
I got to see arguably the best match of the season. So I will take that.
No, but the thing is, what they will do is that, like Chad and I were discussing before, we'll go to Liverpool, we make a thumbed up, right? And then they will announce Ten Hag the day after. And they'll spend the whole week, talking about Ten Hag, right?
yeah, feel good news.
Right. We will plan a protest, right? And then they will go and buy Harry Kane. And then we'll all go mad again. Yeah, Harry Kane.
Yeah, all it takes is a little money to keep a little hush hush money, right?
Yeah.
As I said, I don't know if it was on this podcast or other podcasts, is that we revealed um Varane right before the Leeds game, and
Yeah.
we thumped Leeds. We revealed
Mhm.
Ronaldo before the Newcastle game, and we thumped Newcastle. If we can
Mhm.
make that Ten Hag announcement before the Arsenal game, I would love that. I would love that. Because I know
You
Arsenal will
need to bring the
definitely get
man to
thumped.
Old Trafford and bring him out, parade him around there if you do that.
Not Old Trafford. He going to be at Emirates this time. Because don't forget, we beat them at Old Trafford
He
already.
could be on the he could be on the big screen. You don't have to walk out on the
Yeah,
pitch.
right. At Emirates.
The Emirates.
That will be the day, boy.
Um, the one thing I had to say about these protests is this: we have to have a clear, practical ambition about what it is we protesting. This will get Glazers out movement. What is the motivation for Glazers to be out?
So the whole idea behind it is
No,
they
just
they
now. I know I understand the idea. You know. What I'm saying is it's not practical. If you own shares, let's say Devin, in a company, and those shares paying you dividends year after year, and you are a bad owner, but the company still doing well, the share price still going up, you still getting dividends. What is your motivation to sell?
because eventually companies and whatever, because they make a lot of their money from right now. It seems like there's a focus on sponsorship, and that's where they're making all their money. Eventually sponsorships are not going to want to be a part of a losing product.
Let me
So
eventually we are 10 years in to losing. 10, 8, sorry, not 10. We are going on 9 years into losing, right? My thing is what we need to do is change the aim of the protest. Protest, but let's protest that the Glazers commit to reinvesting, to doing two things: paying off a certain amount of the debt, regardless of the revenue.
all the debt.
We commit a certain amount of money every season to paying off the debt, to paying off a portion of it until the debt is over, whether it's 20% of revenue. And we commit a certain amount of revenue to reinvesting in the squad. Let's Liverpool are run by American owners that have the same mindset in terms of the ownership as the Glazers, but the people that they choose to run Liverpool effectively. There is nothing wrong with the Glazers taking out dividends. My issue is that Manchester United has not been run effectively. If they run the club effectively, I think as supporters, we could be satisfied with that. And it'll be a lot more practical for me to approach you and say, as an owner, we would just like you to take care of your investment. No, we don't want you to sell it, but take care of it. That makes more sense to me than this Glazers out movement.
So
Because the Glazers ain't going nowhere unless somebody could come to them with
with
$5
that
billion.
being said, they've I mean it's you think about it from the perspective of they've been owners since 2005. How many times have they gone over there to actually see the team play? We've all heard the stories about Old Trafford leaking, that the infrastructure is not that good. I've seen it firsthand. That Carrington has not been renovated since it was first built. And so you have had all this time and you haven't done anything with it, but you're still taking the dividends out. Now, if you were making sure it's kept up as a world-class facility, both the training facility and Old Trafford, and the team was actually producing results, I don't think fans would have an issue with you taking dividends out because you know what, the team is performing. But
Exactly.
you've had 17 years to show that you actually care, and it just seems like no, you just care about just the dollars coming in, regardless. It just feels like it's an ATM for them, and they could care
Yeah,
less
but
about
I hear that,
that.
but it's going to be a lot
That's
easier.
what the issue is. So it can be fixed very easily. Which I mean, I read some reports today about they hired the Populous company, the same ones who did Spurs Stadium as well as a couple other ones to come up with a plan to revamp Old Trafford and Carrington and things like that. I take that with a grain of salt. I will believe that when I see the cranes outside of both grounds, because too many times we've heard this story, and I don't trust the Glazers to do this. So if they do it, in a way, I would actually say that the protest worked because it took us to get to this point, which I really hope that this is the rock bottom for us, but I can't say for certain. So I really hope it took us to this point to get the Glazers to realize, all right, we need to do something, especially if we want to get liked again. But I feel like if they start doing that and then they actually start showing up to the to the fan forums like they promised they were going to and things like that, they might have a chance to turn it around. But just act like you actually care about the club and not just about making money. I just don't see why that seems so hard for them to do.
Yes, indeed. I hear that. Garrett is asking, what about just Carrington? What about the Cliff? I mean, there's so much facilities that need revamping at Manchester United because
I would
once
actually
upon
like
a
to
time,
keep the Cliff the way it is for the nostalgia thing. Like make facilities there at Carrington for the academy, for the women's and the first team. But keep the Cliff there as like the old training ground. You use it for like events and other matches, things like that. So
I heard
well, I mean,
Spurs training facility is top notch. Like,
well, it's new, and Carrington was top notch once upon a time,
in
and we
1999,
yeah,
we need to be top notch
even
again.
Leicester's is past now, and Manchester City's thing that's right next to the Etihad is phenomenal. If you, I don't know how familiar you are with that area in Manchester where it is. 10 years ago, you got told you're going out. That's where you went for like to get killed. And you look at what they did with that area now. So it shows it can be done. And I don't know if you've seen all the ground that all the land, all the ground around Old Trafford that United owns. It's very possible.
And we have been buying up a lot of properties around Old Trafford for over a decade now. Right? So there's a lot of property around Old Trafford that is owned. Let's see if any designs come out of it and if anything really happens. You know, gentlemen, just to keep us on time, let's jump in to the Boo Boo and Top Shutter segment of the United Hour. For anybody who doesn't know,
let Devin go first, man.
yeah. Last couple
Well,
times I went.
I was gonna say we'll do our Boogle Man first, and then we'll go through and do a top shutter afterwards.
Last
do our Boogle Man first.
last couple times I went first, so I will go last today. For those who don't know, the Boo Boo of the week is the person or the team or the country or something football related that is just having a horrible week. You know what I mean? President Biden doesn't count, right? Who's just having a horrible time. Nothing is going good for them. A bird walk, fly and poop on you. That's the Boo Boo of the week, right? The top shutter of the week would be somebody who's having a person, team, country, whatever, that is having a great time, that having a lot of success, that is just everything they touch turns to gold. That is what we're talking about. If you are tuned in, please press that like button. Please, if you're checking us out on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. If you're checking us out on any other platform as well, like and subscribe. Good. Devin, who's your top shutter and your Boo Boo of the week?
So let's see. For Boo Boo, I mentioned it earlier. I think Nagelsmann this week has to be my Boo Boo man. I think he got his tactics wrong. Bringing on Alphonso Davies was not the right move at that time, and it cost him a goal right away, and which knocked them out of Champions League. He's young, so the question now will be, Will the Bayern faithful stick by him, or is it no, just gone right away? For my top shot of this week, it was actually, I think I will have to go with Antonio Conte. What he's been doing with Spurs has been absolutely phenomenal. And I know people were afraid of his harsh tactics, that he would not last, things like that. But he's turned them from a side who we thought was going to be pretty much what United is right now. We thought that's what Spurs was going to be. Harry Kane is looking like Harry Kane again. Him and Son is probably the best 1-2 partnership in football these days, and it's nothing short of brilliant in my book. And so he has to get props, especially after winning 4-0 last weekend too. President Chad, you're on mute.
All right, cool. Top shotter is Conte. I hear that. Robert, who's your boo boo and top shotter of the week?
My boo boo obviously is Chelsea fans. All them Chelsea man and them who were on the radio talking for a whole hour and a half. Oh God, if you hear them on the radio, they were online. I passed by Hot Shots there. If you see them outside and all the paraphernalia, you would swear that it was elections. If you see them in the road, oh God, Chelsea. And then what happened? Nothing. Crickets. Where they going? They can't see them. Men now on the radio the next day, they're quiet, they're vexed. Oh, don't call me and tell me nothing. No, partner, you was running your mouth. You was running your mouth for a whole hour and a half. Oh, yeah, we win the league, we win. No, this is football. You never talk until the final whistle. You never talk. You hush your mouth and you see what happens.
Especially if you're up 2-0.
But they were up 3.
You're up 3.
3.
That's the worst part.
That's me tradition. I just say it too.
You understand? All of them, man. All of them. If you hear how they talk about us, call us man your rats. Oh God, if you hear them talking. But now look where you are now. Bunch of waste of time, man. Waste, man, boy. All Chelsea fans, all of you, go down. Boo-boos, all of them, all.
The man said go down, so we had a flush Chelsea fans this week. Flush them.
All of them, I don't care.
Who's your top shotter?
It had to be between Modric and Benzema.
Well, they could tie them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that pass, boy, it was.
Yeah, so next time we're doing this top shot and Boo Boo, I going first next time because this is absolute bullshit that y'all top shot and Boo Boo. That's it. Next time on the United Hour, I am going first.
Wait, time out. Rewind. Weren't you the one that said let Devin go first?
I am going first next time.
Did you not? Were you not the one that said let Devin go first?
Because I heard your top shot and Boo Boo earlier in the program. That's why I said let Devin go first, right?
Right. No.
But it's all good.
No. Right. Yeah.
You didn't hear my top shot. You heard my Boo Boo, not my top shot. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Floor is yours.
Oh, the floor is mine now. Okay, cool. My Boo Boo is going to be the team called Barcelona Football Club. It's funny because it was almost comparable to how Real Madrid were going through a crisis in 2016, and they hired a legend by the name of Zinedine Zidane, and then Real Madrid meant to win on the Champions League, and Barcelona think that they could have taken that same route, but nope. You are out of the group stages in the Champions League, and now you're out of Europe totally, right? Well done to Frankfurt for sending them out of Europe, right? This Xavi ball, whatever, right? And my new top shotter is going to have to be David Moyes and West Ham. They just reached their first semi-final in Europe for the first time in 46 years. 46 years, right? And that's the same year Greg B was born, right? But at the end of the day, What was I gonna say?
I'm so glad I didn't take that drink, you know.
Yeah. You have to clip that part and put it up tomorrow.
Greg,
So,
Greg,
yeah.
please tell me you're in the comments. Please tell me you're in the comments, Greg. Please defend yourself, please.
But no, congrats to David Moyes and West Ham for reaching the semifinals. The English teams are still flying the flag for England high in Europe, and yeah, that's my top shot, and that's Boo Man of the Week for me.
Garrett is saying boo boo. His boo boo is Manchester United for losing against Everton.
Yeah,
And his top shutter is Manchester United women for showing how to beat Everton at Old Trafford.
And
we had to big up the Manchester United ladies for handling their business.
And them too. And where are we?
My boo boo was gonna be Chelsea and somebody else. But since a couple of people went with Chelsea, I will leave that out. And I'm gonna go with my second place. My boo boo is Mauricio Pochettino. Always the bridesmaid and never the bride. This is what the third or fourth time Mauricio Pochettino has been linked to Manchester United. His people and supposedly himself has had interviews with Manchester United. And for the third or fourth time, he get a big fat and Manchester United is going with Eric Ten Hag.
Chad, please learn from Chelsea fans. Don't talk until it's signed.
I trust me.
Hey,
I know it's signed already.
No. I don't trust these people. I don't care
until the man holding up the shirt. Yes,
I don't trust these people.
This
board. We'll talk about Ten Hag, right? And then all of a sudden you will just see the man that show up. Poof.
Yep, I hear you, but just I am confident in my belief and my sources that the deal is already done.
Hey, take your sauce and put it in a pot, right? And simmer it, right? Good.
And my top shutter is Eric Ten Hag because when you think about the names of people Manchester United was linked to, Eric Ten Hag has definitely made the step up from Ajax to Manchester United. And I'm confident. I can't say very confident. I'm confident he's going to win more silverware at Ajax. He's going to win the league. He's going to win the cup this weekend. They have a cup final this weekend. You know, Eric Ten Hag is a man walking on air right now. And he is my top shutter of the week. And I want to hope that he brings that walking on air mentality to Old Trafford when he comes. So yeah, that's how it goes. Manchester United plays on Saturday, 7:30 our time. So we are going.
I thought it was.
Yeah, 7:30 early morning. No, it's 10 o'clock. Sorry, it's 10 o'clock. The game is 10 o'clock. So we are going to be dropping our preview. We're going to be dropping our preview tomorrow. Look out for more content on the channel. And then we're also going to be doing the breakdown on Saturday around midday, probably around 1:30 after the game to discuss everything that went on with Norwich. So stay tuned to the United Hour. Gentlemen, any parting words before we head out?
Stay tuned for a couple shout outs from some surprise United legends coming up very soon on the channel.
Talking about shout outs, oh my gosh, I was supposed to play this earlier in the show. Is a good thing. You know, for those who are don't know, Manchester, the United Hour is a Caribbean-centered United supporters channel, and we are very proud to get this recognition from a Caribbean hero and legend.
Hello, I am Sir Philip Grace, former Deputy Prime Minister and Acting Governor General of Barbados. and you are tuned in to the United Hour.
And there we go, folks. You are tuned in to your United Hour. Next time we do that, we'll definitely do it earlier in the program. So, as I always say, Red Devils, we don't die, we multiply. Enjoy the rest of your day, people. We are out.